Hi everyone, this is going to be an experiment and we will see what happens. I haven't done a step-by-step painting class before, and while this one is not live streamed, it is a class that it is something that I'm doing right here at my art desk, and hopefully you can follow along and have fun. Now I thought that today what we would do is just pick out any fun colors you have sitting around. Now these are the colors that I'm using, and you can see they're a mixture of Craft Smart, Apple Barrel, Martha Stewart. It's just a bunch of different inexpensive craft paints. So, you know, if you've ever done any crafts, you would have them sitting around the house. If you don't have them sitting around the house, they are really easy to get at a place like Walmart. And even if you're on home restriction or something, maybe you can have somebody pick some up for you. If you can get out, Walmart is, of course, one of the places you can go because you can pick up groceries and things there. So that when you get around to running out to grab some stuff, just grab a few colors of paint. Now, usually what I use on painting is I use just primary colors and white and black, because you can mix any other color you want using primary colors. Now what I mean by primary colors are a red, a blue, and a yellow, and then white and black. And that's all you need to paint pictures of just about anything. But I thought today what we would do is something that just seemed to me like it would be a lot of fun. So I'm just going to use these colors, and I am going to we're going to do a really easy seascape, kind of with a sunset sky. So the only thing that you'll be adding to these colors is some white paint, and I just use a paper plate most of the time to put my paints on and to mix them. So I just do a little puddle, maybe about a quarter's worth to start with of each color, and then we can always add more to it as we need to. I'm going to go ahead and put some white down right now, but I'm not going to put any black yet because black will be for the end. Okay, so away we go. Now we're going to start up at the top with the sky. We're going to kind of block in our sky a little bit. We are using, these are acrylic paints, so what that means is that you can paint over them once they're dry. So that's what we're going to be doing. First thing we're going to do is we're going to block in our sky and our ocean. So take a brush. You can use whatever size brush you have. I'm going to use a one that's about this. This is about a 1/2 inch width brush, but if you don't have a 1/2 inch, you can use a bigger one or a smaller one or whatever. And I'm going to start by taking some blue paint on my brush and some white paint on my brush at the same time, just like this. Okay? And then we're just going to start up at the top, and we're going to put this in real quickly. So you can add a little bit of water to your brush to spread this. This is just to give us a base coat here. So we're not worrying about doing anything real fancy right here. We're just going to be painting. So let's paint, and hopefully I won't keep whacking the phone with this paintbrush, which has a very long handle on it. I may have to switch to a short-handled brush. At any rate, my name is Nora, and I am an art teacher and an artist, obviously. I teach generally art classes a couple of times, 3 times a month right now, and I teach them mostly to senior citizens who are wanting to learn how to paint and wanting to get out and be social and, just mix with other people and have fun. The paintings that I teach are easy to follow, and they are, for the most part, very easy to do too. So you just follow along. So now what I'm doing is I'm just kind of doing a sky, a horizon line, I mean. Don't mind me if I talk a little. I'm just talking off the cuff here as I go, so you may have some discrepancies. Now don't worry if your horizon is perfect, doesn't matter, because we're going to cover up a lot of it anyway. So we just want to block in the ocean. So I've been dabbing in a little bit of purple here and there, as you can see. If your colors are too dark, add some white to them. Now if you have a hair dryer at home, you can just use it to dry the paint. With acrylic paints, it's important to get it dry before you add another layer, unless you're going to be doing some blending, because once you start adding paint on top of this, it's going to just mix if it's still wet. So I'm just going to try and straighten out my horizon a little bit there. That's a little better. Got a little lump. And you can see, I think, how shiny this paint is. Hopefully the light's not too bad, but if I go like this, you can see how it's reflecting the light. And that means that's how you can tell it's wet. When acrylic paint dries, it gets dull. And so you have to wait for it to get a little bit dull before you can actually go into your actual painting. However, since we are going to be using basically the same colors, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start working on the sky seriously. Now we're going to add some different colors, as you'll see as we get going. You can the only color you really don't want to add, unless you're doing a green picture, is you don't want to add yellow to blue when you're doing sky, or you're going to get green. And generally speaking, the sky is not green. Sometimes there's little green tints here and there when the sun's going down, but as a general rule, the sky is not green. Okay, so we're going to go back in and we're going to do the sky. We're going to give the sky another coat of paint. And this is going to be our serious coat of paint, okay? So at this point, you want to kind of make it a little bit streaky. So take blue and then take a little bit of white and just add it in like this and streak it across your sky. And that's going to give you a cloudy effect. So you can see how you get a streak. Now I'm going to add a tiny bit of my darker purple color, and we're going to streak it in here too. And as I streak it in, you can see how it starts to look like a cloud up there. And you can add a little more white to it to make it look like a cloud that's kind of edged with a little bit of purple. Or, you know, if you were doing a different color, I'm going to have to switch brushes here. Let me see. I'm going to put that one in some water and see if I can find a shorter brush. I'm going to try this brush. It's got a shorter handle on it, so let's see how it does. Okay. So let's smooth it here. That'll work better. Okay. And it's up to you how much you want to do as far as clouds go up here. You can add, there's way too much water on this brush. Let me wipe some of it out, squeeze some of it out. Okay. So you can just work this sky for a little while. This is when you can work, you know, with wet acrylics into each other. You don't want to overdo them, but you can put streaks in like this. My white is a little lumpy, so I do apologize for that, but that's okay. We'll punt, as they say. Okay. Let's see if I have a better white. Hold on a second. I think maybe I do. I'm gonna try this white, see if it's better. You can see how lumpy this white is right here that I'm trying to use. It's just full of lumps and bumps. And they will not dissolve back in, so I have to get some smoother paint here. Ooh, did I just drip some on my pants? I hope not. Ah, that's much better. Okay. So I'm going to use smoother paint. There we go. Now, the issue that I'm having right now is that my brush was a little wet, so it's making it wetter. So I'm going to add some more purple in here. And this would be up toward where the sky is a little darker, because this is a darker purple. Okay. And we're just doing a streaky sky right now because that's the easiest one to do. And now I'm going to add a little more white, and I'm going to come down further here with the white. And at this point I'm going to add a tiny bit of gold into it, orange gold color, because I'm near the purple, so we can do that. The purple will mix with the orange pretty well. Get a little bit of yellow going there. Okay, so that's where our horizon's going to be. Now if you want to, at this point, if you're feeling adventurous, you can add some other clouds. You can make some dark purple cross like this. Because when it's dark, you're going to have some kind of dark purple clouds. And you just kind of make it a little bit uneven like that and blend it off into the sky. And you can do this. Okay. So there's that. You can do some darker ones up, say, up here too. I'm still basically making straight clouds because they're easier right now. And another lesson we'll learn how to do fluffy clouds. Okay, so you're just kind of streaking them across there, and you can even have some of these purple clouds kind of down here in front of the yellow, because if you look at clouds at sunset, they are really dark right in front of where the sun is a lot of the time. Okay, so we're going to do that. That's going to be it for the sky for right now. Now bear in mind that this sky is going to be partially covered up by some palm trees that we're going to put on here. Okay, so now we're going to move down to the ocean, and I'm going to take some white and some gold on my brush like that. I'm not mixing them on the plate, I'm going to mix them on the canvas. And I'm going to come across like this where the horizon is, because we want to have the sun reflecting at the top of the horizon right up here. Okay, so you just keep dipping into the gold and the white, and you're going to just carry it across. Now, to help you do a straighter horizon line, you can use a ruler if you want, but I'm not going to. But you pick your spot here, and then pick your area over here, like this. And then instead of trying to go straight across from one side to the other, make your lines meet up in the middle. Then you get kind of a straighter line. Okay, so you can put a little bit of white in there, just to lighten it up a little bit so it looks like the ocean is reflecting the sky right there. Okay, now we're going to come down, and as we come down, I'm going to add some of the pink and the purple to the ocean, just so that we get a little bit of reflection. And with the ocean, you can just keep going across like this. You can also put your brush in the blue, go across. Just don't put too much blue into that yellow, or you're going to end up with a funky looking green. I mean, you can have a little bit of green, but we're going to keep our green for the shallow part of the ocean as we come forward. So what we want to do is just kind of do this. Go back and forth with your brush a little bit to kind of blend the colors. Soften the lines a little, and you can streak it in. Just don't overblend it. If you streak it in, you're not going to get the green, because it won't blend that much. Okay, and then as you're coming down, you're going to have more blue. And here again, this is up to you how you want to do this in terms of blending your colors and stuff. It's just always the same. You just take the colors that you want to blend in, and you can either streak them in like this, and just get it. And as you're coming down with the ocean, zigzag a little bit and you get kind of a zigzag, okay? We're going to come back in and put some waves in a little while. Okay, there we go. It's a little bit difficult for me to see because of the way the light is reflecting on here, so hopefully you can see better than I can. And then we're going to come down. Ocean water is darker the further out you go because it's deeper, and so it reflects more of the blue off of the sky, and it has a lot of depth to it, so it gets lighter, except right up here where it's reflecting the sunlight. So as you move forward, you want to get a little bit lighter, and here's where you can start to add a little bit of white and a little bit of gold and get a kind of a greenish color, which you can streak in a little bit like this. We'll eventually get kind of a turquoise in here, but we have to add a little more yellow. Now your colors may not come out exactly the same because you probably won't be using the same colors as I am. This is kind of a fantasy ocean, so it's not going to be exactly the same as a real ocean would be. Now we're not going to actually put sand here, so we're just going to keep getting lighter toward the bottom as we come down. So you want to have kind of a light blue green color down here. Not so much yellow, so if you got too much yellow like I do, add some blue to it, and that'll turn it a little more green. Okay. Now we're going to have to pause for a minute and let that dry. You can take white while you're waiting for it to dry and just kind of run some of it down here like this, so it looks like the movement of the water a little bit. You're going to have just little bits of white in here, so you just want to just put little bits. You can take it all the way up to the horizon line. This. Okay. And then as you get down here closer, your white's going to be a little more pronounced as you have ripples and waves and things. You have some waves come in. We're going to have the waves coming in from this direction, so we'll just add in some lines that kind of give that idea. Okay. So now we just have to let it dry for a few minutes before we can do anything else to it. In the meantime, you can put some tiny bit of white on your brush and just go up here and do almost like a dry brush effect. Take your fingers. Fingers are one of the best blending tools you can use. They blends real easily, and you can get the paint off very simply with a baby wipe or a wet paper towel. Baby wipes work really well, so I use baby wipes a lot when I'm painting. And I'm going to come down here. I think I have a little bit of a too harsh demarcation between the purple and the yellow, so I want to kind of get that wiped out a little bit. That helps blend that in a little bit better. Okay. So these are wispy clouds up here. Very wispy. The higher up they are, the lighter in color they'll be. If you look at clouds in the sky, you'll see that the ones that are high up are the ones that are generally white, and they might reflect a little bit of the sunlight. And as you get closer, the clouds get darker. Even on a sunny day, the clouds that are lower in altitude are always a little bit darker than the ones that are up there real high. So okay, so we got this. So we are going to create a wave coming right across here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to streak a little bit of our main ocean color with some white, and we're going to have it start up here like this, and it's going to come down. Now it's going to be coming over this way, so we have to make it go this direction, and it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay, so it's going to be kind of blended on the bottom a little bit. On the top is where we're going to put the foam, and then we'll add some more detail into the wave. So foam, I would use a slightly smaller brush, and if you have one that has bristles that are a little bit rough, that's even better, but if not, it's okay, because you can do it with a flat brush too. You're going to hold your brush perpendicular, and you're going to go across the top of the wave like this, just making little irregular foamy like action going on here. Now as you get further down here, the wave is going to, let's see, wave is going to collapse, so it's going to collapse into a lot of foam down here. So you make more foam here. Don't worry about having a lot of white paint. That's what you want to have. And it's going to kind of dwindle down here where it curls over. So it's going to come over like this. And I changed my mind. We're going to make the wave going this way. So make it going this way instead. And it comes over and down. Here you'll see part of the wave underneath. Here you're going to have a little bit of the wave on top, like this. Smooth. Like a roll, like it's rolling down. And we're going to do this. Oh, this brush really is wonky. See, it's making all those little things there, but I think I'll leave them there because they kind of looks a little bit like foam. I'm going to come back here and hit this a little bit more so you can see how this curves down. This is where it's really splashing, right along in here. So there'll be more foam as it comes down right along the edge there, and it'll be pretty even edge. Okay, and up here it goes up, up, like that. Okay, my biggest problem right now is my light. it's really hard for me to see what I'm doing because the paint is reflecting the light. So we're having the wave going that direction. Goes like this. And then here's another little wave, but this one's already crashed, so it's just foam rolling along the surface of the ocean. Now, part of the reason this white is not showing up quite so well is because it is, we're doing it on top, I'm doing it on top of wet paint. So I need to do this. I'm gonna go sideways like this. I'll do the same thing up here. Nothing too complicated here. You're just kind of wiggling your brush along. And you can also take your brush and kind of tap it out here a little bit. Give yourself a little more. Just little bitty taps of water. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to do a little bit of lines here so you can see which way the wave is going. Okay, and then we have lines underneath there, just little ripple lines like this. Make them zigzag. Make this one zigzag a little bit. We're going to come down. Now we'll finish some of this stuff off a little bit later. So for right now, we're going to jump in with black paint and do a rocky beach here in the front. So take some black. If you don't have black, that black was really needed to be shaken up. Ugh. Always shake your paint before you dump it on the plate, because otherwise you may end up with a pile of oil instead of your color. Okay. So then you're going to use a smaller brush if you have one. If you don't, you can use a flat brush and just use it sideways. But I'm going to use well, actually, I'm going to keep using this one for a few minutes while I do the rocks. So to do rocks, you're just going to start down here. You decide where you want them to start. I'm going to have them start up kind of high here like this, and then come down. They can be sharp rocks or rounded rocks. It's going to be pretty much a silhouette, so you don't care too much about, you want to paint the outline and then just put the rock in, but make them dip way down here and then come back up. There. So you have your rocks, and then I'm going to show you how to do this with a flat brush. You can use a skinnier brush if you want, but we're going to put in a couple of palm trees. These are going to be kind of like coconut palms, so they're tall and skinny. So you're going to start they're not very fat at the bottom at all. And they do tend to kind of go pretty straight up. And I'm going to put another one over here. This one will run off the edge of the plate, and then I will do one more over here. Will also run off the edge. Okay. So then I just need to turn the canvas. So turn your canvas so that you can straighten out your edges a little bit of your tree trunk. So they don't have to be perfect. This is not, like I said, this is a fantasy painting. So we're just putting in the general idea here. Okay. So they're kind of growing out here behind on the beach, so to speak. Okay. That one looks pretty good, so I'm not going to mess with it, except down here at the very bottom. Okay. So then you're just going to put in some palm fronds. Palm fronds look hard, but they're not. So you can use a skinny brush. Let's see if I have a good skinny brush. Well, I have a skinny flat brush. I'm going to use it. So I have a skinny flat brush. But you can use a liner brush if you would like, which is a much thinner one. Kind of like, well, I thought I had one here. Yeah, thinner like this. Okay. You can use that if you like. But I'm going to use this. So I would say put 7 or 8 fronds on each one just to keep it easy. And you're going to have them curving different directions. They don't have to be even either. You can go up. They can even be a little bit wonky. I'm going to have one coming down this way and one over here. So what I suggest is that you paint, especially right here where you have 2, you paint the fronds in on one tree first, and that's going to be your back tree, and then the other tree you'll do in the front because they're going to overlap each other a little bit. So to do the fronds, it's a real simple brush stroke. No matter what kind of brush you're using, you just put your brush down on the base of the branch and you just trail it off. Just lift it up as you get to the end of the stroke. And you can make them go overlap each other a little bit, but you just want to do just these kind of little strokes. Don't try to make them perfect, and try to remember which way the branch is going so that, like, these wouldn't go straight up. They would just kind of come over like this a little bit because of the way the branch is facing. And you can have them overlap each other. So you do one branch and then you do another one. This one is coming this direction. So you're just doing these little strokes like this. It's very easy, and it's actually kind of fun once you get started because it's very repetitive, and it can be a soothing action as you're going. If you don't get enough of them in there, go back in and put them in. Okay, and these are not very tall for coconut palms, but we'll just say they're young ones. If we wanted to do really tall ones, we'd have to make them further away, and then it would be more difficult to paint them because it's easier to get the detail in if they're closer. So as you can see, my palm fronds are, a little bit different. Each one's different. They're not identical. The actual leaves on the palm frond go at different angles based on which way the gravity would take it. So you think about something that's leaning a certain way, and then gravity would pull it down that direction. So these would kind of go like this a little bit, see, because of the way gravity is here. So it's a real easy stroke. Once you get in the zone on it and you're not too bad, just let it go. Don't worry about the rest of the picture at this point, at the painting at this point. We'll go back after we've got these in and fix anything that needs to be fixed. How am I doing time-wise? Getting close to an hour, which is about what I wanted to do. Okay, so this one is kind of going this way like this because of the way he's facing kind of straight up. Okay, so this is what you're going to do for all of them. So you can put as many or as little as you want in there. And like I said, you'll have them overlapping each other. Got one more branch here to go in. Uh-oh, look what I did. Well, that's all right. We'll just wipe it off. I'll stick a coconut there or something in a minute. All right, I accidentally stuck my brush in the wrong color. That's what I get for not looking what I'm doing. I have my orange and black right next to each other, so that accounts for that. Okay, let that one dry and come over to the other side and work on the one that's on the left side. I'm going to make a branch come, talk about a wonky branch. Like that. It's just going to go right off the edge, straight up, over, maybe a little shorter one. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. See, if you make it wonky, you can just put the palm frond, the little things on it, little leaves on it, and it won't matter in the long run. Okay. This one, you're just going to do it right on top. Got my brush in the orange again. That was good. Okay. This one is like this. So see how I'm just doing them right on top of each other. So that. Generally speaking, the palm fronds are about the same length. They get a little bit shorter toward the end of the branches. And don't worry if your brush strokes show up. That's the whole point of a painting, is you want your brush strokes to show up. I'm at kind of an awkward angle here, which is part of the reason why these are coming out this way, because I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way of the camera so you can see what's going on. Okay. Like I said, this is I've made videos before, but not one that was totally real time like this one. I usually speed them up and edit them a little bit. You can check them out on my YouTube channel, and while they will show you how I painted the picture, it's not a step-by-step instructional because they're all mostly sped up so that people don't feel like they have to sit and watch stuff and listen to me for an hour. So, however, I just was sitting there today thinking, you know, it might be fun for people to have something really easy to just do. So I decided to do this. Well, I like my other tree a lot better, but you know what? That's okay. I don't mean to make that sound like I don't care. I do care. But when I'm doing something like this, I'm trying to learn to not be so perfectionistic and just let it kind of happen. And if some of it's a little bit uneven, then that's the way it is. I'm going for impressionism at this point. Okay, so those two are done. And then we're going to do this one over here. So he's got a branch coming this way, this way, this way. One goes off over there. One comes down like this, and one over there. Okay, so you can see now how this is all in front of the ocean and everything, right? So now we're going to go back in and we're going to touch up a few areas and brighten them up a little bit and stuff so that they peek out a little bit differently from the ocean. There's also one thing that you can do. Well, we'll do it at the very, very end. So for now, take a little liner brush if you have one, and we're going to put a little bit of white, mix some white together, and we're going to put in, mix some white together, obviously. White and blue. We want to have a little bit of some little lines in these waves so that you have more action in this wave. And we're going to put some more white foam on it now that the paint's drying pretty well. So I'm going to use the liner brush, and I'm going to come along here and I'm going to add some more paint, some more white, so that you get the idea. Now you don't want it to be solid white. It does have some depth to it, but you do want to just kind of put it on here a little bit thick, and then it'll create some automatic shading as you go. You get over here, you want to make it a little bit thicker. Okay. And when you get over here, the foam stand out on the wave, so you want it to kind of go along the top. Make it come down here. And what you want to do is put this on here, and then you want to get a dark color. Now if you're using black, you can mix some white and black. I'm going to use a little bit of the purple color that I have, the really dark purple. And what you do is you can run it along underneath the wave, and it creates a little bit of a shadow where the foam is coming down. So you just want to put right under the foam like that, so you can see a little bit of a shadow there. And so you just go like this, you have a little bit of a shadow. And I'm choosing purple on purpose. It's usually kind of a gray color, but I wanted to bring some of that purple down, and you can do this. You can see that gives a little bit of a shadow. We're going to put a little more shadow right here where it's curling under. Right there, like that. You can see how it's curling a little bit. Put a little bit of purple down in here. So at this point, basically what you have left to do is just finish up any little odd spots here and there where you've got something going on and you want to fix it. I'll show you what I mean in a second. I'm going to finish this shadow right here. Make this wave coming up. Okay. So what I would do is I would take some of that purple that you just used on the wave, and I'm just going to zigzag a little bit of it in here and there like this, so that it's in the ocean. And it add some water to it so that it spreads easily, and then just take it and just put it in. Make sure you keep it behind your trees. And I'm going to take some, using my highlighter brush, or my liner brush, I'm going to take some of the orange that I have and I'm going to mix it with a tiny bit of white to make it a little bit lighter, and I'm going to just put it in out here. I'm going to have it right here where the kind of where the sun would be. Okay, and it kind of dwindles off over here like this. And you can also make a few little, just little tiny wave, sparkling gold in your water too. Okay. And that'll intensify your orange a little bit. And if you want to, you can also intensify the pink a little bit right here too. So you have some orange and pink going on, which is real pretty. Right there where the sun would be. Just kind of blend it a little bit with your finger. And have it going off this way. Okay. So then what I would do is go in and say I have a kind of a crooked spot on this one tree. So I would go back in and look for things like that. So I'll put in, even that out a little bit. And then just for fun, we're going to put a little cairn right here in the front where the rocks are kind of flat. I'm going to put it right here. So a cairn is, you know, one of those little piles of rocks. And when you go to the beach, especially in Hawaii, a lot of times you will see them just sitting there. Somebody has come along and built a little cairn, maybe when they were watching the sunset. So basically, they've just stacked a few rocks here. Like that. You have a little rock. And that's the end of this painting. Oh, I forgot to do the coconut. Let me do some coconuts over here to cover up where I did orange. So you can put coconuts, a coconut silhouette in there if you want to. You certainly don't have to, but I'm going to do it because I kind of got that big blob of orange right there. And I also think one more thing. I'm going to take some of that light orange and I'm going to streak it a little bit further over here. So that it looks like it's coming a little bit further. There we go. Okay, I'm calling it done. I hope you had fun, and let me know what you think. And if you like it, subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, don't worry about even subscribing, but keep looking, because in the coming days I'll be doing some more easy paintings that we can work on together. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.